Guten Abend, meine Freunde. Willkommen bei Hannover Global Network. Heute Opportunisten würde immer das bleiben, was sie sind. Hypocrites and opportunists will always be who they are. Stick with me. I will explain. So you have some of these people who are saying that, oh, boy, Perry, you're being kind of tough, you know? Enough of my friends are calling me and say, boy, when you send your video to some of them men, and it's mutual people that I know, the men are telling, boy, I don't want to see nothing from that man. You know, they're pretending that they're so authentic. They pretended that they were some lovers of Marsh. Some of them even pretending that they're also lovers of Bernard. Okay? Some of these people never even see Morris in the flesh. Okay? Some of them never even been 2 or 3 feet close to Morris. They probably saw him on television or they saw him in some rally where they're all the way in the back. Okay? But they're talking about Morris. Okay? Some of them again had a little discussion, you know, on Facebook, you know, a little earlier sometime this week. And this gentleman telling me, you'd love Bernard because you were so brutally honest. And everything that he did, he went through it with a fine comb. Okay? And that's all well and good. But the thing about it, I just asked them the question. They love Bernard so much. Okay? And when Bernard was in a situation, did they ever go and visit his family? Did they ever spend a little time, okay, or evening with Granny Code to check up on her and see how she was doing? Did they ever check up on the rest of his family? Yeah, but all you love him, right? All you love him. You see, you guys just love ideas of people. And you guys just be around people for opportunity. You see what I'm saying? And that in some respects is exactly what all you did from 79 to 83. A lot of all you was a bunch of hypocrites and opportunists. Okay? You see, but as I have said, you all a bunch of pretenders and opportunists, and in some respects, hypocrites. Okay? A lot of the times when you all associate with people, it's because all you was looking for living and all you was looking for opportunity. You see what I'm saying? That is why some of all you get used. You see, many of all you know how to play games and jump on bandwagon. Okay? And how to gravitate close to the throne of power for self-interest. But men like me cut from that kind of cloth. We don't need to gravitate to anybody to make a way for ourselves. We make our own ways for ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So that's the same thing what they did in 79 to 83. Gravitate and get close to this one and get close to that one and then create all kind of, you know, clique and create all that kind of division. Think we don't know the games you all play? That is why when things came to a head, you guys did more harm than good. Okay? You guys caused more problems than anything else. Because guess what? Y'all weren't no patriot. Y'all weren't thinking about Grenada. That is why when Bernard tell all you, collectively, all you responsible for what happened. He ain't lying. He's actually being honest. It's the same sort of nonsense all you're doing now. Instead of thinking about, truly thinking about nation, y'all thinking about opportunity. Okay? So y'all will keep silent. Y'all see nonsense and you won't say nothing because what? You're getting a couple pennies on the dollar. Okay? The GSDP would not do that. Because ultimately we understand the consequences of doing that. Nation first. Okay? You guys continue to play your games. Let's see what direction that would head. So you would see leadership doing nonsense and you will condone it. Even if it's detrimental to the country and detrimental to the majority of people in the country. Because you play those games. You're benefiting a little bit. You're getting a couple pennies on the dollar. So you keep your ass quiet. You ain't say nothing. The GSDP is not going to do that. Okay? You see even elder statesmen sitting on a corner, biting their nails. The experience tell them that this ain't going in the right direction. And they can't even say a word. Because you have a bunch of young, bright, and intelligent, young, and bright fellas controlling this. Okay? So you're free to tell them anything. But they themselves have no respect for elders. But y'all condone that. Y'all created a climate of lack of respect. You can see, the last time, I don't even understand that. What kind of man does that? Like we lost we cojones or something? I see the gentleman go and talk down and dishonor and disrespect the leader of the DPM. And he didn't say anything. So when you condone this sort of action, what sort of society you think you're building? What sort of signal? If at that level of leadership, you condone that, what sort of signal you're sending to that youth man and them? What are you telling them? You're telling them it's okay to engage in that sort of behavior. Okay? Then you have some all you ain't even doing it for pennies on a dollar. All you're doing it out of bandwagonism. All you just want some sense of identity. All you want to belong to something. And many of you don't even know what you belong to. I see a gentleman on Facebook telling me, he says, oh, I see you're associating socialists and communists and marxists with the NDC. Well, what are you talking about? And I had to tell the gentleman, I say, oh boy, now I realize that you're totally clueless. And you obviously don't know the players. You're totally clueless. Then you had another gentleman on Facebook, the gentleman telling me, how he doing this because he just love doing it. And he driving a piece of old car, it don't matter. That's what the gentleman say he doing it for. He's doing it because you're a patriot to the NDC. Not a patriot to Grenada. And he proudly said, I'm driving my old piece of car. And I'll drive it into the ground to follow NDC. And the gentleman is doing that while it seems that the upper echelons is plundering the resources of Grenada. And it's sometimes being likened to one of the most rapacious administration ever seen on the soils of Grenada. But the gentleman proudly said, boy, I drive my old piece of car. Anyway, I'm following them. That's what he's doing it for. He said, they ain't paying me. That's what he said. I mean, I don't believe him that they're not paying him, you know. But it just goes to show the man, he didn't care about Grenada, you know. He care about party. So just like many of you doing now and gravitating to the people of the power, so to speak, same thing all you do with Bernard and them. A lot of all you pretending all you love Bernard so much. All you's looking for opportunity too. Y'all think people foolish or something? Because when he was in a situation where all he was, but as I said, the proof is in the pudding. Did y'all ever visit this man's family and check up on them? For all that, what are you all trying to say? Oh, I don't like this one, I don't like that one. Guess what? Yours truly checked up on them and spent time with them. Okay? On several occasions. Okay? So there's that. Y'all know people? Y'all talk about Morris also, like if Morris, like all you know Morris. Morris is to come on a weekend and hang out in a house that I grew up in. Okay? Now all you're putting all kind of mascots and pretending all is Morris. So, let me make this clear. This thing don't come down to man and man. Okay? And flesh and blood. We tried that in 83. We saw the consequences. This is a fight. Okay? And my fight is a fight against principalities and powers of darkness. Okay? And the very people that know me and know what I'm talking about, and personally, when they meet me, they say, boy, pray, I understand what you're saying, Bam, you're making sense. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell me that. They know me. I know them. Okay? And the thing about it, they know what I'm saying makes sense. And it's grounded in logic and reasoning. So nobody's fooling anybody here. Okay? So my fight is against a philosophy that I have seen what it has done to Grenada. And I see, in some respects, a sneakily resurgence of that philosophy. Okay? And I know how destructive that philosophy is in the hands of some of them who pretend they were a bunch of fanatics. And I know how they like to captivate the youth and make this look attractive to the youth. Okay? And in essence, all this is going to lead to is destruction for Grenada. So in some respects, when I say that the GSDP, we are defenders of Grenada, don't take that lightly. We are defenders of Grenada. So that is what we're doing. We're sounding the alarm that Grenada and Grenadians should stay clear of that destructive philosophy. Because some of them believe that Lenin born in Grenada. Okay? So they're trying to package this again and make it attractive to the youth, to rile them up. Okay? They like to provide idealism to the youth, to rile them up, to try to get votes. That's why you see this gentleman, he always put on a Mars mascot. What does gentleman know about Mars? What does gentleman even know about the characters that he in bed with? Okay? What does he know? But the question is simple. Who built the capital post 83 in Grenada? For the last 40 years and above, who built the capital in Grenada? But that's what these people do. A lot of them are opportunists. The capital was built, not by them, but now they want to come and plunder what was built. And that is why you see there's an association with this young gentleman. Because these young cats in them, they have a sense of entitlement. They never struggled. They never did anything, okay, to teach them proper work ethic. So what they will do as soon as they get the opportunity, they will plunder. And in some respects, make, okay, ill-gotten gains. So now they want to come and plunder. Okay? Well, you know how this thing was built? Over the last 40 years, all you know how it was built? And even the honest, genuine people from 79 to 83 who broke their backs, okay, in some respects to give Grenada a start and built certain foundations. You all know how that happened? But what did they get? Many of you petty bourgeois, want to be socialist Marxists. All you are the ones that inherit scholarships. All you got free education. How much of that was used to actually give back to Grenada? All you turn petty bourgeois. Okay? But they're men and women who broke their backs in that 4.5 year period. What did they get for it? What did they inherit? Real men and women. Okay? What about the young men who spilled their blood in defense of Grenada? What did their family get for it? What did their sons and daughters get for it? Okay? These are the people I fight for. Okay? Because I understand what that destructive philosophy can do to Grenada. We have seen over 40 years plus that capitalism has built Grenada. Okay? And a lot of the things that we enjoy now was built on the back of capitalism. But now you have the luxury, and you guys are coming, toying with this socialist Marxist garbage. Okay? Toying with it. And in some respects, again, as I've always said in all my vids, when you all toy with it, and then consequences descend on Grenadians, you guys, just like these guys from 79 to 83, these petty bourgeois punks, are the first ones to run and hide. Okay? And then the regular Grenadian man and woman, the proletariat, and the lower classes are the ones to bear the responsibility. Because you guys have cushions. Okay? So when the shit hits the fan, you guys don't have to worry. Your mercantile class, your landowners now, okay? Your intelligentsia, you have a little money in the bank. But the regular man he's the one that's going to bear the brunt of your destructive policies. So that is my fight. It's impersonal. And I keep telling you guys, none of you can tell me nothing. Not one of you. Okay? And a matter of fact, the only one that can tell me something, and one of the few, is the ones that I have said before. They can tell me something. But most of you can't tell me nothing. So, let's be clear. My fight is not against flesh and blood, but my fight is against principalities and powers of darkness. My fight is for the protection of the youth of Grenada. Okay? These impressionable minds must be protected. And my fight is for you guys not to hijack the coffers of Grenada, use the machinations of government, and enrich yourself. That is my fight. My fight is for you not to hijack the unions in Grenada, okay, which was built by Sir Eric Matthew Geary, but you guys have infiltrated it and hijacked it to the detriment of Grenada. My fight is against you not hijacking media in Grenada and propagating a bunch of nonsensical socialist Marxist doctrine, okay? For all of you who come on the media and talk some nonsense and try to corrupt the youth of Grenada, yeah, my fight is against that. Okay? Capiche? So now we're clear. So if you're going to sit back and let insolent, disrespectful people come and plunder the coffers of Grenada, okay, and enrich themselves with ill-gotten gains, then you guys sit back and do it. But I will stand up for the people of Grenada. And I will stand up for Grenada. I'll continue to do it. Guten Abend.